Hello. I invite you to continue this series of calm reflections on the book Our Home by André Luiz. A spiritual account of life after death, responsibility, and the maturation of consciousness through work. Chapter 29 is titled, The Vision of Francisco. This is a very moving chapter, filled with important spiritual insights. It does not describe great events or extraordinary journeys through the spiritual world. Instead, it reveals something far more subtle. The power of human thought, attachment, and imagination, which can shape the experiences of the spirit even after the death of the physical body. After a brief conversation with Mrs. Laura, who calls to ask about the night duty, André returns to his work among the patients in the rectification chambers. His attention is drawn to a young patient named Francisco. The man is in a state of intense distress. He cries out, begs for help, and says that he sees a monster pursuing him. He claims that he feels worms and terrifying creatures attacking him. For André, this is a deeply disturbing sight. Narcissa, however, remains calm. With great patience, she tries to soothe the patient, explaining that he will regain his balance, but that it will also require effort on his own part. When Francisco calms down for a moment, André asks Narcissa who the being is that the patient fears so much. Is he truly being tormented by some invisible spirit? Narcissa's answer is surprising. She explains that Francisco is actually seeing his own body. During his earthly life, the young man was extremely attached to physical existence. After death, he could not accept his new condition. For a long time he remained near his grave, trying to return to the lifeless body. Such was the strength of the illusion in which he had lived. He could not accept the idea of spiritual life. He refused to detach himself from material sensations. Eventually, the decomposition of the body and the presence of worms caused him terrible terror. He fled from the grave. But the image of the decaying body remained in his consciousness. It became a powerful creation of his own imagination. And it is precisely this image that now pursues him like a nightmare. Narcissa explains to André one of the very important truths of spiritual life. Human thought possesses an immense creative power. What the spirit carries within its mind can become a real experience. If someone identifies exclusively with the physical body during life, after death it may be extremely difficult to accept their new spiritual nature. Francisco's story also reveals something else. Spiritual help always exists, but it cannot always act immediately. The Samaritan teams brought him to the colony almost by force. Yet his condition is still very serious. Time, patience, and care are needed for his consciousness to gradually regain balance. Within this story there is also a deeply touching moment. Francisco's father, a spirit of great merit, comes to visit his son. During one of the visits he kneels beside the bed, takes his son's hands, and weeps. Yet the son does not recognize him. His disturbance is so intense that he cannot understand who stands beside him. It is a deeply moving scene. It shows how profound spiritual confusion can be, but also how great love remains present and continues to help. After this visit, Francisco's condition slowly begins to improve. The most severe episodes of madness fade away. Only occasional crises remain. This is a sign that the process of regeneration has truly begun. Narcissa concludes her conversation with André with a reflection that carries one of the most beautiful ideas of the entire chapter. She says that most people living on Earth remain in a deep spiritual sleep. This is not a reason for condemnation, but for compassion and concern. She offers a series of remarkable images. A caterpillar clings to lifeless matter. Yet the butterfly rises into the air. A tiny seed is almost invisible. Yet in time it grows into a mighty oak. A faded flower returns to the soil, but its fragrance continues to live. All these images remind us of one simple truth. Life never truly ends. Even where we see only darkness, future light may already be growing. Chapter 29 reveals one of the most important teachings of this book. After death, a person does not suddenly become a different being. We remain what we were inwardly, with our attachments, beliefs, and ways of thinking. This chapter speaks about the power of thought, about the responsibility we carry for the way we perceive ourselves, and about the fact that true freedom of the spirit begins when we stop identifying ourselves only with matter. It also reminds us that spiritual growth is not based solely on knowledge. It is based on the awakening of consciousness, on gradually discovering that we are something more than the physical body. And it leaves us with a very important question. Do we remember in our daily lives that we are spiritual beings who are only passing for a moment through the experience of matter? In the next chapter, André Luiz will continue to discover the deeper aspects of work within the rectification chambers. The journey continues. See you soon.